In 2020, LSU running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire was drafted in the first round, 32nd overall by the Kansas City Chiefs, and that sent him soaring up draft boards, despite the fact that he was regarded as pretty much just the average running back in the class. He finished as RB21 and completely killed fantasy managers. Who is this year's version of Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Stay tuned to the Fantasy Football Universe to find out. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fantasy Football Universe, where I fumble through my fucking intro like Forrest Gump trying to read Shakespeare. Fucking seamless, just right on top of my game today. Anyways, welcome in. We're continuing on our series with the potential landmines of the rookie class. We're looking for the next CEH, who, as I said, was taken 32nd overall out of nowhere because drafting first-round running backs, this might be the last time we ever – I guess there was one drafted the next year, right? Was the next year when they went Najee Harris, Travis Etienne in the first round, or did they – I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, if drafting CEH in the first round didn't teach you to never draft a running back in the first round, Jaylen or Najee Harris did. So we'll never see that again. So the question here is, who is the running back that none of us were really that high on, who got either draft capital or landing spot and is now shooting up draft boards and is going to be a bust? The problem is there aren't many guys in this class that fit that category. Nobody really got draft capital. Sorry. They all got crappy landing spots. So we're going to basically look through here, and we're going to take a look at some of the second-round running backs in the rookie drafts. And I think all three of ours are second, third-ish round running backs. And we're going to decide which one of them is going to be the biggest bust for fantasy this year. So would you like to start, Jesse or Jeremy? Which one?
Yeah, let's fire up Jaylen Wright here. Jaylen Wright, one of our favorite backs pre-draft. I think he was certainly my RB4. I think we all had him in the 4, 5, 6 range for sure.
I had him at 3.
Super fast home run hitter, right? He didn't have a ton of opportunity, but he could definitely run between the tackles. I think we were a little maybe concerned about that Tennessee offense and everything that it does to kind of open up and create space for the offensive playmakers there. But otherwise, everything was telling us that Jaylen Wright looked good. In fact, even at the combine, he dominated. He ran a 4.3 840. He was mad at himself. He expected himself to go sub 4.3. So that's potentially in his bag. We know he's a home run hitter, right? So he's a fantastic player. The problem is he's totally buried in Miami, right? We know Miami loves speed. Somehow, some way, Mike McDaniel passes on Xavier Worthy, right? And he takes this guy and buries him behind Raheem Mostert and the other guy, Achane, right? So unless there's an injury, I don't expect Jaylen Wright to see the field too much. They'll use him situationally in the beginning. Maybe he's a kick returner. That's certainly a possibility for him and for them. We'll see what they decide to do and prioritize with him. But now they have just a wealth of speed in the backfield to help Tua Taga mediocre back there in the backfield. And Tyreek Hill's still around. We know Hill and Waddle are going to get theirs. They add Jonnu Smith. So, look, they have everything in place. The problem is Wright is just buried. So, for all of his talents, those two guys ahead of him, Mostert and Achane, assuming health, are just going to dominate touches because they're way better than Wright is. So, that's my main issue with him. I don't see it happening. And if Tua continues to be this bad, moving that offense is going to, if Tyreek Hill gets injured, for example, this team is toast. So, you're not going to see 20 million touchdowns from most again this season if Hill can't be out there. So, there's a lot that needs to go his way. He's going to need probably 1, maybe 2 injuries in front of him. And even if he gets an injury, let's say Raheem Mostert goes down, we've talked about this before. Achane is the clear RB1 in that case. And then Wright moves into the Achane role, which we know is about 10 touches a game. All right. Can he be efficient on those 10 touches? Yes, but I wouldn't expect Achane numbers from him in that role. So for me, if you're drafting him, I know he's not going super high in rookie drafts, but if you're taking him in the third, it's a waiting game. And I don't expect him to do much of anything this year, barring extreme catastrophic injury in Miami.
I'm with you on that one. Oh, do you want to go? You can take it.
No, go ahead. It's all right.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I'm with you on that one. We talk about him filling this like kind of coming in if Mostert has an injury. Why are we so certain Jaylen Wright's going to I've heard this case where they're saying he's going to be the RB1 there, and I do not understand it at all. He was an efficient player on limited touches. Never had more than I said this like 1,000 times. Never had more than 13 touches per game in a season. That was his most touches per game in a season. And we talk about this like running backs who don't have touches in college. They almost never translate into guys with big touches in the NFL. It's very much a skill that translates. So Jaylen Wright, yeah, he's efficient per touch basis, but he's going to be behind H. And I just don't get why we're so excited for Jaylen Wright as opposed to the other guys. He's waiting on an injury in year one, possibly year two. We'll see what happens. Maybe they keep Mostert because they like him. And if Wright struggles, he might not be there. So yeah, I like the fit. It's about as good as a fit as we got back-to-back years for the Dolphins. But yeah, I'm worried. I don't think this guy could be a true bell cow at all with HN there. And even without HN, I think they would have someone else filling the role. So he's going to be a limited touch guy. And what's the ceiling on a limited touch guy? Albeit in the Dolphins offense, I'm just not that interested. I would much rather take the chances on the other running backs we'll talk about later where they have the ceiling that you can get to be an RB1. I don't see him ever being an RB1 in fantasy.
And the last thing I'll say before Aaron takes over here is that Jeff Wilson, people are assuming that he's just being pushed to the curb. He's not as good as these guys, but he has earned touches and he's earned Mike McDaniel's trust. More importantly, I don't think Jeff Wilson's just going to go away if there's an injury.
This one sucks. I loved him. I had him, I think, at RB3, considering RB2 at one point. There were so many great situations he could have gone to. He could have gone to Dallas. Jaylen Wright in Dallas might be like a top 3 round pick in regular drafts for me. Oh my God, that would be wonderful. But no, we send him to Miami, where not only do they have Raheem Mostert, who projects to be the old version of him. Then we have Devon Achane, who is the young version of him. We have Jeff Wilson, who's the somewhere in there. I don't know what the hell he does, but we have 4 guys who are all speed guys, all on this doing the same thing. So I don't mind stashing him in Dynasty at a 3rd round pick, but I just can't see in redraft how he has any sizable amount of touches this year. I don't know what's Mostert got left on his deal. I can't see it here, but anyways, I can't see how he factors in here. This is going to be mostly, I think it's going to be 60% Devon Achane. Mostert's going to be doing the rest. And I think the only way he gets on the field is when inevitably Mostert goes down. I think that's what you're thinking. Best case scenario, Mostert does what Mostert does. So I hate this one. This was my biggest faller of the running backs. I hate this one.
Yeah, it's not
good.
All right.
Yeah. Let me show you this nice little image of what's his face we pulled up. It's the Scott Barrett meme, which I think is absolutely hilarious if I can find it.
Oh,
Spider-Man.
No.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's the Vision, baby.
Oops.
Oh yeah.
Raheem Mostert. Strength of Raheem Mostert. Athleticism, Raheem Mostert. Vision, Helen Keller. Yeah, that tells you what you need to know.
If these running backs that don't have vision worry me, and he very much fits that, where you don't know what he's watching in the offense. So yeah, I'm with you.
Good times. Now we move on to Jesse's. Was that one was Jesse or Jeremy's, right?
Yep.
Jesse's Trey Benson, Florida State running back, selected by Arizona, 66th overall in the 2nd round, 6 feet tall, 216 pounds. So he's a big guy. He's got James Conner in front of him for, I don't know, until he's 90 and retires. What are your thoughts here? He's going actually in our last draft. Benson went
super high.
He did 204. I was going to say, I'm like, why the hell is he? I wasn't looking that high up the board. 204. He was the RB2 off the board behind Jonathan Brooks, which I don't think anyone's arguing. So I assume that's what you're about to say. Thoughts?
You keep him away from my sweet Jonathan Brooks. Yeah. When we got done with the NFL draft, my first thought was it's Jonathan Brooks and everyone else. Trey Benson falls into this category of everyone else. James Conner was the 4th ranked running back in the NFL by PFF. Number 4. He's not dust. He's still really good. I get it. We talk about these guys being old, but they still have to not be good for that to happen. And you're basically counting on him to be Austin Eckler, which we have no reason to believe unless you're just saying he's old, it's going to happen, right? And then we do this with Derrick Henry. He's not a sure touches. I think the most like carries he's ever had in a season is 154. He came off the injury, so like 154, 155, it's decent, but no, he doesn't profile to be a workhorse back. He has good missed tackles force, but another guy, vision issues, where I watch what's available to him, and I'm like, dude, you should have so many yards than what they gave you right there because he makes it such more complicated. And if guys don't have vision, this is the DeAndre Swift corollary where I'm like, dude, you're going to drive me crazy. He's going to drive fantasy managers and NFL teams bonkers with what he's doing on the field. So I get it. He's the prototype of like the skill set, the speed. He's the guy, the speed score hero that you drafted. This was SC's RB1. I'm sorry, SC. I don't mean to do this to you. But yeah, I got super worried. Like, I don't think he's taking the job from James Conner. James Conner is a good back, and he's going to be the backup. So what you're hopeful then is that he goes into year 2, Conner is gone. But what's to stop them from drafting a running back in year 2, like next year, right? And then he has competition. So like we talk ourselves in these situations all the time. We act like it's better than it is. They have to be good being a day 3 back. So it could happen. If he's the RB2 off the board, I'm letting other guys draft him. I'll take Corum and those guys later. I'll just take those guys round 3. I'll let people go 204 Benson. Like, that's all yours. I'm good on that. And no thanks.
You know who my comp was for his vision? Jaylen Wright.
I thought you were about to say Helen Keller.
Jaylen Wright. That was my
Ray
comp.
Charles.
Ray Charles.
Stevie Wonder.
So what are your thoughts, Jeremy? You in or out?
Yeah, I mean, I like him. I think he's got a chance. I agree with you that James Conner is not necessarily dust. Maybe he should be. Maybe we should be a bit more wary just in that offense. But Kyler did not look good down the stretch last year. Now he's got a whole offseason. That's great. We got MHJ there. We've got Trey McBride there. So they're going to be able to have a functional offense, and that's awesome. So whoever the RB1, I think, is going to do well. It's certainly Conner until it's not Conner. But I do like Trey Benson's prospects for year 2. But yeah, in year 1, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I agree with this one. This one is another one. Didn't get a great landing spot. Didn't get a terrible landing spot, but James Conner is enough where, like, we do this every year. We're right. We did this last year. Oh, Tajay Spears is going to be the league winner because, Derrick Henry's old and washed up. Well, it turns out he wasn't. Turns out there's a reason he's still on an NFL roster. It's because he's pretty damn good. And for the most part, throughout his career, the only thing that stopped James Conner has been injury. It hasn't been that he's fallen off. When he's in the lineup, he's an RB1 every time he plays since he was in Pittsburgh. So as long as he is on the roster, I don't mind taking a shot at him. I don't mind stashing him. But as far as redraft goes, he's not going to be one of my late dart throws because he's another one. It's the same as Wright. The best you're hoping for is that the veteran in front of him gets hurt, and that's how he gets on the field.
Yeah. It's difficult, man. We talk ourselves these situations all the time, and I don't think it's guaranteed with him. That's all.
We're doing this with the rookie running backs and the receivers. There are even some of the tight ends. There's so few options that we convince ourselves that these guys are old. You just find one guy, and everyone finds one thing they like about him, and everyone jumps on board. And next thing you know, a guy who was probably a 50 overall is now an 85 on Madden. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing? He wasn't even any good. We did this with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This is kind of the theme here.
Yep.
All right, we will move on to mine, which pains me to say. Michigan running back Blake Corum, selected 83rd overall by the LA Rams. Not the LA we thought he would be going to. Maybe they wrote the name in wrong, but Rams for now. 5'8", 205, so he's got that small bowling ball shape to him. My problem is the way he produced in college, I don't think he can be successful at that in the NFL. He was used, Harbaugh used him a lot, and that's why I would have liked to go to the Chargers because I think Harbaugh was the only one who would have just continued to ride him. But he's here behind Kyron Williams, who I think is the superior running back, and I think Blake Corum's coming in as a backup. This isn't a situation where it's 50-50. Corum, like, it was all a ton of touches, goal line, short yardage work. I don't think he can do that in the NFL. The reason he was successful in college, the Michigan offensive line was so much better than their opponent's defensive line that he couldn't fail. He was running through, like, if you watch some of their the Ohio State game, the Iowa game, Alabama and Washington, the last 4 games of last season, he's running through holes that are like the size of my house. And the funny part is, You'll see, but it's okay. So I think it was the Washington game. That was the Natty. It was either Washington, one of the games. Anyways, he had 2 touchdowns, and Donovan Edwards had 2 touchdowns. Blake Corum's 2 touchdowns were like a combined 34 yards or something. Donovan Edwards' 2 touchdowns were both 70-yarders or 40 and 75. It's just he was taking the same. It's like the situation where you see 2 running backs in the exact same system with the exact same opportunity. One of them averages 8 yards per carry and the other's averaging 3 yards per carry. He just was inferior to Edwards in every way, and he was winning because Michigan was so much better than their opponent. I don't think when you put him on a team with, I know that the Chargers revamped their O-line here. I think they're still probably average at best. So you put him on a team that's not considerably better than every other team they play, and I just don't think there's a pathway for Corum. Sorry, I said Chargers. I meant Rams is what I got so stuck in my head that he was going to the Chargers that I said Chargers, but you get my point. Not a great O-line. I don't think he's going to succeed. Add in the fact that despite the fact I hate day 3 running backs, Kyren Williams is still there, and I don't think Corum's going to be enough to win this game. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. Here's a fun fact for Blake Corum. He was 126 in yards after contact and 143rd in missed tackles forced. So what does that tell you? He gets what's there, and that's it. Like, he does not break tackles that well. I think he had 0.23 missed tackles forced. It's well below Brooks. It's well below the other guys like Brooks and Benson and those guys. Like, he was good fit in that scheme. I think the way he gets on the field is 3rd down because Kyren Williams still sucks in pass protection. Like, he was outside the top 100. Blake Corum is good in that role. I think he could fill that role. But, yeah, like, he's not taking the job. Like,
system running back. He's the product of the environment.
And their backups they had last year were so atrocious. This is why they fed Kyren, because they had no one else they could count on. Sorry, Zach Evans fans. Like, he sucks. Like, he's just not happening for him, right? So, yeah, like, they needed somebody. I think he could be a fine complimentary back to Kyren Williams. That's fine. You're basically, we talk about this with James Conner. You're counting on an injury with these guys, and they're getting pushed up above these really good wide receiver prospects, too. I much prefer taking them in that range. So, like, I'm just going to let other people take it. It's just, there's stuff to like with him, but, like, there's enough red flags. It's like, just let other people take it. We'll target the running backs we like later, specifically Aaron's guy, like Kamani Vidal. Like, I would much rather go that route, right?
Corum went 208, Vidal went 310.
Yeah, like, what? Just give Vidal 310. I don't want to spend 208 on Corum, but thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, look, and he's also the shiftier back between Kyren. We know that Kyren tested so poorly that it didn't matter. He just kind of ended up in the situation in the Rams. He ended up being the better back because Cam Akers, I couldn't even remember his name. Cam Akers just like mentally washed out of Los Angeles. Just wasn't worth it.
Sean McVay.
They shipped him off. Yeah, it just didn't work. Kyren Williams worked. Kyren Williams is this back though too, right? He gets what's blocked for him. The good news is like the blocking's been decent, and like Aaron mentioned, the Rams just went out and grabbed 2 free agent guards this offseason. So they're ready to roll there. And the thing that you like to see is that they're invested in this running game to help the offense as a whole. So Kyren Williams still the 1A. It's unquestioned. The 1B though is Corum by a lot. If he can carve out a role in the passing game, great. That'll be easier for him since Tyler Higbee is likely out for the first month plus of the season. But of course, we got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. They're absolute target monsters. Demarcus Robinson didn't look so bad either last season. So the Rams, I think, are set. Matthew Stafford, I don't know if he's going to be throwing it to a rookie a ton. And Kyron's a capable pass catcher in his own right. So, yeah, I'm not hugely, high on Blake Corum either, and I haven't taken him in any of my 8 rookie drafts so far.
All right, and that is a wrap on this year's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Head over to Fantasy Football Universe for all of our content, or follow us everywhere on social media. Like, comment, rate, review, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We will be back tomorrow with the 2024 version of Zach Wilson. That's an exciting one. We all love Zach Wilson. All right. Thanks all for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow.